Hi, boys and girls. So we have a quick math lesson today, okay? And then you're going to be doing your blue eye ready. So this video is going to be very fast, and then everyone should move on and complete their blue eye ready today, okay? So we're going to start on page 535 of your RCC book. Take a minute to open up. And now I just want to point out to you that in this session, you're going to need to know that $1 is equal to 100 pennies, right? If you counted up 100 pennies, that's going to be $1, okay? So in this problem, it says Max has 248 pennies. How many whole dollars does Max have? And what fraction of a dollar is left over? So to help us think of this problem, I used my magnets to make 248, right? I'm going to just double check and make sure I have 248 here. So I have 100, 200, 210, 220, 230, 240, 241, 242, 243, 244, 245, 246, 247, 248. Okay? This is showing 248. It's asking how many whole dollars does Max have? So there's 200, right? I know $1 is 100. So that means 200 pennies, I'm going to write this, is equal to $2, right? If 100 pennies is $1, 200 pennies is $2. I can see this by my visual here, guys, right? If I put out my 248 pennies, how many holes do you see? I have 1, 2, right? So I would have $2. What fraction is left? This is my leftovers here. I already used my 200, so that's going to be my leftovers here, too. So my leftovers should be 48. Does this show 48? Yes, it does, right? I have 4 10s and 8 1s. So that means my leftovers are 48 over 100, okay? So I have $2, and then left over, I have 48 hundredths, okay? So let's write that out. We're going to say Max has 2 whole dollars and 48 hundredths, okay, of a dollar. Take a minute to write that down if you need to. Pause me. And I'm going to look here. So, the first one says, write the dollars and fraction as a mixed number. I remember when I write a mixed number, it's a whole number and a fraction. So what was my whole number? I had 2 whole dollars, right? So I have a big 2. And then what's my fraction? What I had left over is 48 hundredths, okay? So 2 and 48 hundredths is what we said, okay? Then it says, fractions with denominators 10 and 100 can be written as decimals. So the models show the fraction 48 hundredths. So here it shows 48 out of 100 shaded. In this one, it's showing you those tenths shaded in as 1, right? So here there's 4 tenths and 8 ones, right? So these ones are hundredths. Here it's showing you 4 tenths and 8 hundredths, okay? So the way we can break that up is 48 hundredths, that's our fraction, is how many tenths? So how many tenths are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 tenths, which makes sense, right? We have 4 tenths And how many hundredths? So what are these little guys that you can't put in a tenth? These are my leftovers. There's 8 of them, right? So 4 tenths and 8 hundredths. That makes sense, right? I have 4 tenths and 8 hundredths, which is gonna give me 48. I want you to hear this. Tenths and hundredths. When you hear that means you're talking about numbers that come after a decimal. If I said hundreds, I'm talking about like numbers that come before a decimal, right? This is 200s. These are hundredths, okay? That's because this is 1/100th, 1 out of 100, okay? The language changes a little bit. So now it's breaking this down for you. It says to write the mixed number 2 and 48 hundredths as a decimal in the place value chart. So in my ones place, I have 2 ones, right? That's my whole. This is my decimal point. Then how many tenths did I have? I have 4 tenths. And how many hundredths? I have 8 hundredths, okay? This is the part that cannot be a whole number yet, okay? This is part of the whole, just like a fraction, all right? Let's look at the next part. C here. So it says to fill this in again. So it says fill in the blanks. So my whole number, I'm going to put this in word form now. So my whole number is 2, T-W-O. And so how many tenths did I have? I had 48 hundredths. Okay? So just like my fraction showed, 2 and 48 hundredths, I can write that as a fraction, as a decimal, excuse me. 2 and 48 hundredths. And when I'm writing with decimals, I do and for the decimal point, okay? Explain how thinking about money can help you understand decimals. So we'll just chat about that for a minute. So we know money, when you look at it, there's going to be a decimal point, right? The numbers before the decimal point tell you how many dollars you have. The numbers after the decimal point tell you how many cents, right? The cents are what is left over to the dollar. Okay, so take a look at your blue iReady, and hopefully this will come a little bit more full circle for you. All right? So get that blue iReady done, and have a good rest of your day.